Good Wednesday evening. This is Lainey. I'm the practitioner on duty tonight, sharing our Wednesday night metaphysical lesson. And I'd like to share with you a personal story that let me know the universe is always listening to me and to everybody. So it involves this record album that I bought at a estate sale. We Came in Peace for All Mankind. I bought this album because I liked what it said. And I took it home, and then I wanted to frame it. So when I was in the process of framing it, I looked at the back of it and read what it was about. It's about landing on the moon. And on the first side, it talks about Radio Moscow as they announced the Russian first, Sputnik 1 and 2, the first man in space, the first rendezvous in space, and the first spacewalk. And then on the other side is the story of our voyage to Apollo 11. Well, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is really a cool album, and it's got the record in it. I didn't want to frame it and close it off and block off the back side. Well, when I went to the estate sale, they had two of these, and darn it, in that moment, I'm thinking, darn it, I should have bought the other one. They were only $3 a piece. And I'll probably never be able to find another one because, the estate sale's over and they were going to donate everything to Goodwill. And my mind is just in a fuss a little bit about, darn it, if I only had that 1 second back where I could have chosen differently. And have you ever had that kind of moment? I'm sure you have, because life is filled with those. So, I was regretting that I hadn't gotten both of them, and thinking, darn it, it would have been such a nice picture. I could have had the front on the front, and then flip the frame over, and the back would be available, and you could take the record out if you had a record player that would play this size of record. So my friend Myrna came out to visit, and I showed her the record, and then a couple days later, when she was home, or she went home, but she said, I found the record album. It was in a Goodwill in Sunland, where I used to live, and I live in Acton. I found the record in Acton. She found the second one in Sunland for $3. I was so excited, and it was like, oh my gosh, it was just an example. It's a small example, but yet it's a big example of how the universe really listens to what you're thinking and what you're saying out loud or to somebody else. So that's really important. Even though this is a small example of how it works, I had some emotion attached to this incident. And your emotions are very important about what you think and about what you say. That kind of magnifies the energy into the universe, who always says yes to what you're thinking. So I wanted to talk to you about the book, Can We Talk to God, by Ernest Holmes. I'm going to channel him a little bit here. Because what happens is there's the law. The law is the law of manifestation. It's the law that is impersonal. It takes what you're thinking. It's in your subjective, subconscious mind, and it takes what you're thinking, and it creates and manifests what you are thinking. So I just want to share some words from Ernest Holmes, because he says it the way he says it. It is generally accepted that subjective mind is the silent builder of the body, the seat of memory, and the repository of thought and emotion. This inner consciousness is the medium between thought and its manifestation. The law is a silent creator of destiny, having intelligent receptivity and creative ability, yet having no purpose of its own to execute, compelled by its very nature to be a servant of the Spirit. Faith set in motion in this medium produces facts in human experience. Our own individual subjective states of thought constitute the medium through which this law works. If we have a true conviction, which is in line with ultimate harmony, we can create an idea which must clothe itself in a form equal to our mental equivalent of such an idea. I had emotion attached to this record album, finding another one. Where could I find it? Oh my gosh, the world is really big. I could never find it. I mean, that may sound like a negative thought, but my emotion was attached to it, but yet I had planted that seed in the universe, and 2 days later, the universe produced. We should daily affirm the presence of a divine law which obeys our word. The law is, but it must be used. When we use it consciously and constructively, we use this law. When we use it unconsciously, perhaps destructively, we use this law. The universe gives to us through us. All natural laws await the intelligent, guiding hand. It's waiting there for us. Our fate is within our own minds. Thoughts should be daily directed and consciously controlled. I thought this was so important. The forces of nature are not coerced. They are directed. So the powers of mind and spirit are not commanded, but commandeered. The universal flow is forever taking place. The turning of this flow into the channels of constructive thought is an individual act. God, the universe, divine energy is always flowing. It's all there is this spiritual energy. It's always there. We just have to put into it what our thoughts are, hopefully good thoughts. Even if they're negative thoughts, we still reap the rewards of what those thoughts are. Believe it, and it shall be done. Accept, and let it be done. Convince the mind, and no longer deny the greater possibility. Act as though I am, and I will be. We must abandon our ideas to the supreme cause and wait for the harvest time with joyful expectancy. Again, I had strong feelings about finding this record album, and I was kind of like, oh my gosh, am I ever going to find it? But I had enough emotion to it, and I think because I know that the universe responds, I just kind of let it go, and 2 days later I had it. Our prayers, mental treatment, is neither wishing nor willing. It is an affirmation of the presence, the power, and the willingness of the divine law to specialize itself for us to meet every human need. It is not through human determination, nor power, nor by might, but by the silent workings of the Spirit through organized thought that the divine imparts its power to each person. We are chemists in the laboratory of the infinite. What shall we produce? And in another chapter, in Can We Talk to God, he talks about the energy back of thought. The law of the universe propels mind into action, action into creation, creation being an effect, a result. The creative word of universal intelligence projects itself into form. When we speak of the energy back of thought, or the power of faith and prayer, we are not thinking of willpower, but of original power. The thought or the prayer merely uses an energy which already is. The measure of our faith in the infinite is the measure of our capacity to draw from the infinite. It is done unto you as you believe. If we believe in a greater good, then much good can come to us. Let us definitely and consciously accept our good and continue accepting until we experience it. You know, we talk about divine right action and divine order, and even though we may speak our word about something and it may not happen in that moment, trust and have faith in the order of the universe that when the time is right, you will manifest, it will be manifested. A good-natured flexibility with oneself and a faith, persisting in the face of anything which would contradict it, is the only way to approach the principle of right action. We need to be flexible. That's where we have to have the faith and the trust that things of good will come to us. There is an energy in thought, not because we will it to be so, but because it is so. Definite thinking draws this energy to our conscious desires and demonstrates at the level of our faith in the law of God. If we have a problem to solve, we must know that intelligence is now solving it. The energy back of constructive thought is spirit. Spirit permeates everything. Hence, constructive thought calls the best out of any particular experience. Thought swings from contemplation into action, from prayer into performance. In actual practice, we try to sense the union of the Spirit with everything we are doing, and this is important, as there is no great and no small to the soul that maketh all, it follows that our slightest desire is important to the universe. This record album was important to me. Small in somebody's mind, but it was important enough that the universe followed through. We should think of ourselves as being divinely guided, affirming that our mind is continually impressed with the images of right action and that everything in our life is controlled by love, harmony, and peace, that everything we do prospers, and that the eternal energy back of all things animates everything we undertake. We should definitely declare that the Spirit within us is the Spirit of God, quickening into right action everything which we touch, bringing the best out of all our experiences, forever guiding and sustaining. The greatest good which our mind is able to conceive should be affirmed as a part of our everyday experience. And I'd like to end with these words from Ernest in This Thing Called Life. God is life, not some life, but all life. God is action, not some action, but all action. And God is power, not some power, but all power. God is presence, not some presence, but all presence. God is pure spirit, filling all space. This pure spirit animates your every act. There is a real you that lives in a real God, and the two are one. To know this is to understand your relationship with the divine presence. To realize that the law of God is written in your own mind is to make available to you a power that can meet every need. And so ends my lesson. Thank you.